Hello guys, and welcome to the Night of the Living Dead physical media showcase. This is part 2 of the Trilogy of Dead retrospective series. So yeah, I wanted to do a little bit different, something a little bit special this time round. So I managed to rig up a VCR and just an old computer monitor that I had laying around, and I've got the film playing. I've gone for the colour version, never seen the colour version, but I've always been quite interested with it. So I thought it's a bit of an oddity. Chuck that on in the background. We'll be getting into the release of this specific VHS in just a moment. But yeah, like I said, a little bit different, a little bit special for the release in the series. So I hope you enjoy it. But let's get on with the first release then, because we've got quite a lot, to be honest. And this is it. This is the colour VHS that's playing at the moment. And yeah, interesting release. I mean, I can only think of a handful of things that, been colorized really to any success, especially from this time. And I feel like this was quite an early attempt at that, like I said, doing a colorization of something that's black and white. And the general consensus is that I think it's not that great. It'd be interesting to see if they went back to it now and colorized it now with the technology and the tools they've got, see if they could pull it off. But like I said, it's always been a bit of an interest of mine to see this film in color. So yeah, of course I had to grab it for this this showcase. And bonus points getting on VHS. I'm a child of the 90s, so grew up with a lot of VHS. Very nostalgic with the covers and just the presentation of VHS. So yeah, really happy to grab this one. It was pretty cheap, to be honest, a few quid, so I mean, ain't gonna break the bank. And yeah, it's just a bit of an oddity. It's quite interesting because over in the UK I couldn't really find many VHSs of just the original film in black and white. I either came across the colour one, which you'll see pop up all the time, or the 30th anniversary one. But in terms of the original, I couldn't really track one down. Obviously, I know Intervision put out the pre-ser of Night of the Living Dead. Good luck finding that, because yeah, I didn't see any really pop up. So this was the next best thing, a cheaper option as well. But as you can see, the cover, just a still image of the cemetery ghoul, Night of the Living Dead. Don't watch this alone. Interesting colouring with the ghoul itself. I mean, it's kind of got a pale green and almost yellow hair. But like I said, it's it's a bit. It's just an oddity, really. It's a bit of fun. It says they scream louder in colour. So yeah, there is that. There's the spine. This was put out by Forefront Video. Quite prolific at the time. You'll see that label pop up on quite a lot of these old VHSs. There's the back. Romero's classic redefines the meaning of horror. One of the most successful independently made films ever. By Danny Perry. So yeah, I mean, bang on really. But again, just being a VHS, the release year for this is 1994. Prox running time 96 minutes. A little bit of a write-up there. Yeah, like I said, just quite a nice, cheap example of Night of the Living Dead on VHS. So that's our first release. Like I said, there is many. Next up, we have this release. It's the 30th anniversary edition, Night of the Living Dead. Quite a striking cover art on this one. This is also a big box VHS, which is quite cool. But yeah, quite striking cover art. There's the spine. And here's the back. 30th anniversary edition. Talks about the what makes this special. Night of the Living Dead 30th anniversary edition is presented full frame and was created using the original 35mm CRI. It includes over 15 minutes of new footage produced and shot by 3 of the original creators, John A. Russo, Russ Schreiner, and Bill Hinzman. This edition also features an all-new musical score by Scott Vladimir Lucchini and a scene from Bill Hinzman's feature Flesh Eater, which appears after the film's conclusion. So I've not seen this edition of Night of the Living Dead. Again, quite interested in it. Obviously massive, just a total oddity for the film's history. To have 15 minutes of newly shot footage in 1998 for this. Of course it's going to stand out like a sore thumb, and I think again with the colour version worse. General consensus is that stay clear from this. Supposedly it's not good at all. The new score doesn't feel right for the film. All of the new scenes is just padding and just not needed and necessary. So yeah, it's a shame, because I mean it's perfect as it is, Night of the Living Dead, but if you're gonna add stuff to it, it would have been interesting to see it if done right. But obviously, like I said, by general consensus, it's avoid at all costs. So yeah, again, a real oddity. I will definitely check this out. Like I said, it's been on my radar for years and years, so yeah, but don't expect much. But again, interesting release. This came out in 2001, so again, quite a later VHS, big box as well. I know over in the States, Anchor Bay did it, same cover. I think Anchor Bay actually produced the new footage or had a hand in creating it. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just a real oddity that this is the last VHS for this section. And now we're on to the DVDs. I've tried to put them in some sort of a chronological order in terms of release date. So I'll grab the first one. And it is the Millennium Edition. It's actually a US release. It's by Elite Entertainment, and yeah, the cover art is just a gravestone. George Romero's Night of the Living Dead, the original classic. THX, which was the big craze at the time for early DVD releases, but it comes in a nice red kind of case. And there's the spine, again, just continuing the red. And here's the back. Quite a nice write up there from George Romero himself. Actually, I believe this was a release to try and get an official release out for the film, because there had been for years and years just unofficial releases. Anyone could put Night of the Living Dead out. So I think this one was, they obviously worked with Romero to try and get a definitive edition, and by all accounts for the time was pretty definitive. I remember this one from my childhood. Dad having a copy of this, and yeah, just seeing the cover and just being like, oh, you know, at the time not really knowing that there was hundreds of releases for this film, but just being quite intrigued by it. So yeah, you do have quite a lot of new special features for this. You've got newly approved THX transfer, trailers, TV spots, dual commentary tracks featuring creator director George Romero and the entire cast, film parody Night of the Living Bread, original mono soundtrack, Dolby Digital 5.1 remix, still photo gallery featuring rare colour photos, the history of Romero's company, the latest image, scenes from the lost Romero film There's Always Vanilla, video interview with Night of the Living Dead's Judy Ridley, final interview by star Dwayne Jones, foreign and domestic posters and collectibles, original props, the entire original shooting script, cast members' personal scrapbooks, THX optimizer to assure proper TV/monitor collaboration, Romero directed TV spots and short films, full colour insert featuring linear notes by Stephen King. So yeah, I mean, for the year, 2000, this is a stacked release. These are the inserts, like I said, written by Stephen King. So nice to have. Obviously, the King and Romero connection goes way back. So yeah, quite in depth, quite detailed notes there by King himself. And yeah, for an early release, I mean, they really put the effort in. You can still grab this for dirt cheap, so recommend picking it up if you find it. And yeah, that's our kind of first, milestone edition, I would say, for the film. So I'll put that one at the back here. And then next up, this is another one, a lot of nostalgia for, from my childhood. That cover, to me, for the longest time, this was the cover that I associated with the film. And again, we'll see shortly that no cover's the same. So, but yeah, this was a big, standout from my early years, seeing my dad's DVD collection and just being like, again, not really knowing that multiple editions for the same films or whatever, and just being, like, all this is really striking. Very retro, creepy kind of image of obviously Karen Cooper from the film, who pops up a lot on these covers moving forward. But special collector's edition, digitally remastered, THX again, Elite Entertainment again. So I'm not sure what release came first, either this one or the Millennium Edition. I'm not seeing a date for this one, but again, we've got quite a lot of special features for this. Pretty much the same as the features from before, but perhaps not as in depth. So I have a feeling this one might have came before. But yeah, just a quite nice release. And for whatever reason, when I brought this edition, it came with this in, which is from the Anchor Bay 1998 Dead DVD. So yeah, that was nice to have. But yeah, again, very nostalgic for that edition. It would pop that at the back as well. Now moving back to UK territories. Well, to be fair, that release that just showed is actually UK, but it did get like the exact same release in the States, and you see that one pop up quite a lot. But here we go with the tartan DVD of Night of the Living Dead from the year 2000. Obviously, tartan being quite well known in early to mid 2000s, released a lot of films, Battle Royale, a lot of kind of J horror films like The Ring, The Grudge. So yeah, again, it was kind of a free for all. Everyone was releasing Night of the Living Dead at the time on DVD. But it's nice to see a Titan release of it, because again, Titan was one of those pretty solid labels back in the day. But yeah, interesting cover art. See Johnny, a few ghouls there. More terrifying than Hitchcock's Psycho by Time Out. There's the spine. And there's the back. This one comes with filmography's scene selection and review. So no idea what that means, but yeah, not many extras for this release, sadly. But and I can't speak on the transfer, but you know, Tartan fairly solid back in the day. So again, all of these releases coming up, you can pick up dirt cheap. Yeah, none of them are, you know, difficult to find or expensive. That one there. Next up, and this is just the DVD release, the 30th anniversary edition. I wanted to grab this because obviously it's just easier having it on DVD than it is VHS. And like I said, never seen it, want to get around to seeing it, and this is really the best version of this version of the film, but it's identical to the VHS. No special features by the looks of it, and again, released in 2001. There's the inside, got chapter selects and stuff like that. Nothing special, like I said, no special features sadly, but yeah, never released that. Here we have a collector's edition, includes colour and original black and white versions, which is interesting. Again, if you want both versions of the movie, you know, this might be a good cheap way to get them. The Dead Return to Feed on the Living by Stax Entertainment. The spine. Here's the back. Got a few extras here. Like I said, they're touting it as a collector's edition, so you get colour version of the film, 96 minutes. Original black and white version of the film, 96 minutes. Background to the film, profile on George A. Romero, George A. Romero filmography, 4.9 screen size, palette, region 0. So again, you can play it wherever. You'll probably find that with a lot of these DVD releases. No insert with this one, and yeah, interesting. It says volume 1 on the disc. Don't really know what that means. Don't know if that's just they had an ongoing series at the time and this was the first one. But on to the next one. This one, again, a lot of nostalgia with this one. I remember where we used to live, we had about 10 minutes away, we had kind of like a, you know, a mini kind of high street thing. There was 1 or 2 VHS early DVD shops, not blockbusters or anything, just independent ones, I believe. And every time we'd go in there, this was on the shelves. Like I said, being at a young age, just being like, oh, what's this? You know, colours pop. Obviously, quite a striking image. At the top there of, you know, someone screaming. Ghouls at the bottom. Like I said, it just popped at the time. So, yeah, always remember this DVD release of Night of the Living Dead. One of the most influential horror movies ever made by Empire. Yeah, bang on the money. There's the spine. And this one is by Prism Leisure. Couldn't quite read that on the spine, but yeah, Prism Leisure. I've seen that label a few times on DVD releases. This is from 2001, so quite a few releases from the year 2001 for Night of the Living Dead. And special features, just classic chapter selection, you know, when that was a big deal back on early days of DVD. But a few still images, a little bit of a write-up, some chapter selects, and quite nice disc art. So yeah, a little bit of effort made in the presentation of this one. And yeah, very nostalgic for that cover. This is the next one. And yeah, can't really say the same for this cover. I mean, very basic. Just a few quite bad images, really, on a black background. And that is it, really. This is by a company called Moonstone. Never heard of them, to be honest. Yeah, nothing special here. Like I said, the spine is basic. Back, again, just basic. No special features. Don't think it has a date on it either, but again, I think this is early 2000s, so open it up. No inserts, just a disc. And yeah, like I said, you see that one pop up quite a lot, and no wonder why. Looks very basic compared to some of the other releases. And here we go. Another ugly looking cover. Elstree Hill Entertainment. Again, never heard of them. Yeah, just a terrible picture. I mean, totally just, it looks like he's wearing lipstick or something. Very blurry image. Again, you probably see this one pop up quite a lot. As the spine, here's the back, a little bit of a write-up. 2004 black and white version, no extras by the looks of it. Yeah, very basic. And there's the disc art. Again, you know, early 2000s were just churning out these Night of the Living Dead releases, sadly. Yeah, and a lot of them are not good, but we move forward. Here's another release. Again, you see this one pop up quite a lot. And this again is touting special collector's edition. Extensively restored and remastered. So I can't speak for the transfer, sadly. But the company is called Contender. So, you know, never heard of them. But they're releasing special editions supposedly. So let's have a look at the bonus features. We got Dolby 5.1 audio, feature-length George Romero audio commentary, feature-length cast audio commentary, original US theatrical and TV trailers, star Dwayne Jones' final interview, interview with cast member Judith Ridley, selected scenes from Romero's lost film There's Always Vanilla, photo galleries and more. So by looks of it, it looks to be quite a one-to-one port of the Elite Entertainment Millennium Edition in terms of special features. And this one you do see pop up quite a lot, cheap as well, so might be quite a good one to pick up. 2006, so middle of the road. There's a disc art. Again, very common release, but it does have quite a lot of extras. So I've got to hand it to that. Company called Into Film released the next edition, and to me that cover art looks more like Linda Blair from The Exorcist than Karen Cooper, but that's just me. Before the Day, Before the Dawn, there was the original Nightmare. Collector's edition includes all new interviews with George Romero on his seminal horror classic. So might actually be getting something new here, but I do doubt that very much. And yeah, all it says is about the new interview. I think that might possibly be the only special feature. Interesting on the companies down there, you got Metrodome, who I remember seeing when I was first getting into Blu-rays. I had a Donnie Darko Blu-ray released from them, I'm pretty sure. And I think the Maniac remake might have been released by them as well. I'm not 100%, but I have seen that name pop up quite a few times. And yeah, with that Romero interview, I don't necessarily know. Of course, it wasn't made for this release, but could have just been ported from one of these other releases and just titled new. I have no idea. But this is 2007, it looks this release. So, yeah. Very basic, but again, you see pop up for pennies. Here we have a colour version of Night of the Living Dead. By looks of it, only in colour as well. So interesting, they've not got a black and white version on this, but a play on the original UK quad art, which is quite nice. Not seen that on any of these editions just yet, so I appreciate that. There's the spine, it's very basic. Having difficulties with the focus, obviously, with the film playing, but you're not missing much anyway. But yeah, special features, interactive menu and scene index. 2006, runtime 96 minutes. So again, very basic. No special features, only the colour version. All disc art. Yeah, just another release that you can find absolutely everywhere for almost no money. But this is quite an interesting one because obviously special edition, you know, a little bit more effort for the cover, if you can call it that. But it says includes a feature-length documentary on the making of Night of the Living Dead and interviews with Sam Raimi, Toby Hooper and Wes Craven. I believe that's the documentary that was done for the 25th anniversary of Night of the Living Dead. I have seen that documentary. It does have those directors in, so I believe it is that. So first time we've seen that extra on one of these releases, which is quite cool. but this is, I want to say, 2006. So again, a lot of releases from those mid 2000s as well. That looks to be the only extra on here, which is a bit of a shame. But interesting, this company here, To Entertain. Now, if you're a Doctor Who fan, like myself, you will be very familiar with that logo, as they released the entire classic run of Doctor Who on DVD from the very late 90s all the way up until, you know, the early 2010s. So yeah, I just thought that was quite cool picking up this release and seeing that, because like I said, you know, they were a constant in that decade for physical media collecting if you're into it. So it's quite cool that they've put on a Night of the Living Dead release. And yeah, it does say up here, the special edition includes reflections of the living dead. The documentary with the directors. So yeah, like I said, the first time that's popped up, and it's quite a decent little doc. So yeah, I recommend grabbing this one actually. Might be a good one to grab. Again, it's cheap. So yeah, interesting release. I'll pop that one up there. And sadly, back to the mediocre to poor releases now. Night of the Living Dead, the B-movie DVD collection. It looks to be the same company that released that we just had a look at, that in colour only version. So it looks to be exactly the same company. So probably just the same disc, new packaging. The packaging somehow got worse. 2010 as well, so a late one. And yeah, the disc work is identical. So yeah, avoid that. Not a good one. And that is it for the single releases of Night of the Living Dead on DVD. Quite a lot. There's quite a lot that I haven't got either, but I felt like I brought quite a nice and wide selection to the table for this. Like I said, it's one of those films where it's had hundreds of releases on all formats, and yeah, you could spend all day just picking up different releases, different variants. Like I said, 99% of them are dirt cheap, go for nothing. There might be one or two that, you know, might send you in the double digits, but I doubt it. I wasn't really finding anything that I was like, oh, you know, I'd like to grab that. So yeah, you know, a few recommendations. Those early Elite Entertainment releases are nice. Recommend those. That Tartan one's quite nice again if you're collecting specific labels. Tartan being quite a well-known one from the time. And then that To Entertain one, different documentary on it. So I thought, yeah, those ones recommend. 30th anniversary, you know, I recommend just picking it up as a curiosity, but by no means don't go into that as your first time watch of Night of the Living Dead. By all accounts, it's yeah, it's terrible. And the colour version, a lot of those come with the colour version and the black and white version. So, you know, we're watching the colour one at the moment. This is on VHS. The quality is very ropey, but it is what it is. Like I said, I would like to see an updating of it with today's technology. But yeah, it's just a weird little thing that happened in the history of this film. So, but before we go on to Blu-ray, I just want to show you this box set from Arrow Films that comes with Night of the Living Dead. I have two more of these box sets that come with all three of the films, different labels, and I'll show one box set off each video just to, change it up. And like I said, because they come with all three of the films, I didn't quite know how to showcase these ones, but I thought I've got three of them. There's three films, there's three videos, so we'll do it like this, and this be the first one. But yeah, Arrow Films, obviously, they've come a long way from the work on this, but it's nice to see that name pop up in these early releases. Obviously, Arrow being beloved and cemented their reputation as arguably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, boutique label Blu-ray company today. So yeah, this is quite a cool one. Limited edition box set from the director of Diary of the Dead, so obviously indicates the year that this came out. Featuring George Romero's three outstanding zombie features. Not too keen on the cover art, it's quite generic. But here's the back. Again, a few still images from Night of the Living Dead and Day of the Dead. Sadly, nothing from Dawn of the Dead, which I don't quite understand, but is what it is. And as you can see, Night of the Living Dead, no bonus features whatsoever. Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, pretty stacked. But so even though this is from Arrow, kind of see that it's probably just one of the discs that we've already seen for Night of the Living Dead, just chucked in this box set. But yeah, the release is from 2008, and there's the disc for Night of the Living Dead. Quite nice disc art. And if we flip it over, you see the disc for Dawn of the Dead, continuing that motif of night, then going on to Day, disc 1, and then finally Day, disc 2, special features. So yeah, quite a nice release, quite a nice budget release for these three films. If you've not got any of them, recommend picking this up. There was quite a few of these Trilogy of the Dead box sets, and Romero's Dead films collections, and you see that one quite often for a decent price. So yeah, I definitely recommend picking it up if you've not already got it. But last, but certainly not least, is the Criterion Blu-ray release for Night of the Living Dead. And yeah, I mean, this really is the release to, the release to end all releases of this film, if you want to put it like this. Just incredible. Remember when this got announced, very excited. Finally, a big company, a respectful company was putting out this film and putting the work in, giving us new bonus features, new restoration, new packaging, artwork, everything like that. Worked with Romero on it, so it was all official. And yeah, it's just a stunning release. Loved the cover art. One of my favorite kind of newly commissioned artworks for Night of the Living Dead. Yeah, really striking, classic Criterion kind of layout there. You have the spine, and this is number 909 in the Criterion collection. There's the back, nice read up, 2 Blu-ray special edition features, so it's pretty stacked. It's the black and white version, no color version, no 30th anniversary edition, which again, why I recommend picking up some of these earlier DVD releases just for those. But yeah, you get a ton of new special features. You get read them off now, but you get New 4K digital restoration supervised by director Romero, co-screenwriter John A. Russo, sound engineer Gary R. Striner, and producer Russell W. Striner. New restoration soundtrack supervised by Romero and Gary Striner and presented uncompressed. Night of Anubis, never before presented work print edit of the film. New program featuring filmmakers Frank Darabont, Guillermo del Toro, and Robert Rodriguez. Never before seen 16mm dailies reel. New program featuring Russo and the commercial and industrial film production company where key Night of the Living Dead filmmakers got their start. 2 audio commentaries from 1994 featuring Romero, Russo, producer Carl Haldman, active Judith O'Dea and others. Archival interviews with Romero and actor Dwayne Jones and Judith Ridley. New programs about the film's style and score. New interview program about the direction of Ghouls featuring members of the cast and crew. New interviews with Gary Striner and Russell Striner. Newsreels from 1967. Trailer, radio spots, TV spots, plus an essay by critic Stuart Klawans. And yeah, this is stunning release. Released both in the UK and the US. So yeah, I recommend getting your hands on this one. It's presented in a digi book kind of format, which I'm not overly keen on, I must admit. But you know, if you're gonna do it right. And I definitely think Criterion nailed it with this one. So really nice artwork there with the ghouls from the film. Nice wraparound. And open it up. Read it with the 2 discs. Packed with features like I've just read out. We get a double-sided, it's a poster of Karen Cooper, iconic image, and then on the back, instead of a booklet, it's presented as just like a, you know, a sheet really, but tons of information, load of you know, tidbits about the films, acknowledgements, production credits, special thanks, talks about the restoration. You got the cast, you got credits. Yeah, very in depth. Yeah, just really nice release, really nice edition, and like I said, the definitive edition of Night of the Living Dead. Can't recommend this one enough, really. This is the release that I would say go out and grab straight away if you haven't already. They have released it in 4K and it just comes in like a normal Amray case. I would like to get the 4K release because I bet it looks absolutely stunning, because this one looked, the transfer was incredible. Yeah, just really nice. Lends itself so well to the black and white filmmaking. So I bet the 4K is even better, but the only thing that's put me off it is just, it's a shame that it's just an Amray case. You know, it would have been nice if they'd done digibook like this one, or, you know, just slightly different artwork maybe, just to change up a little bit. But I will grab it, you know, and I'm sure again that's the definitive release of this film. But yeah, you can pick this one up fairly cheap, under 20 quid most days. And yeah, that is a look at the releases of Night of the Living Dead. So quite a few recommendations, you know, a few highlights from the early years, finishing on the Ultimate Edition, if you can call it that. But yeah, you know, chucked in a few VHSs. Obviously got the movie on in the background, so yeah, you'll be able to make up for yourself if it's worth it or not. But yeah, I just thought, you know, it's cool. Like I said, I wanted to have these as you know, special releases in terms of video, so I wanted to change it up a little bit. But yeah, you know, could just sit here and watch the whole film. But I'm sure you've seen the film a million times. And yeah, until next time, like I said, we've got Dawn of the Dead, which I'm, yeah, can't wait. Really excited about diving into that one. It won't be released for a little while. I'll be back on the Fold Cheese next week with a lizard in a woman's skin. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I'll be working behind the scenes on getting Dawn up because yeah, it's going to be quite a big one, I think. Obviously, being, you know, my favourite film of all time, not just horror, but film in general, I have a lot to talk about. There's obviously so much behind the scenes and tidbits, information over the years about the film, the production, the legacy of it. Just this weekend gone was the Living Dead weekend at the Romero Mall, potentially the last Dawn of the Dead, you know, reunion big super show for it before the mall is torn down, which is a you know, it's a travesty. Been watching loads of videos over the weekend of it, and yeah, it's incredible. Just shows the impact that film has and still has. So yeah, I can't wait to talk about it. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed this Night of the Living Dead physical media showcase. Hope you enjoyed the retrospective that came out last week. Got a lot of good feedback on that already, so really pleased with it. Yeah, keep an eye out for Dawn of the Dead in the near future, and I'll see you next week back on the Fulci train. But hope you all enjoyed. Hope you have a good day and take care. Thanks for watching.